In order to refresh the recollection of the persons who have already seen the previous videos I have made regarding my 39 years fighting against injustice and fraud in connection with my conviction in Brooklyn, New York for murder back in 1978 on a forged indictment dated November 1976. I come here now with facts that have been established after I made my initial claims of fraud on the part of former Kings County District Attorney Charles J. Hines and former Kings County Supreme Court Administrative Judge Barry Kamens. Long before 2014, I raised issues of fraud and criminal activity on the part of both former District Attorney Hines and Supreme Court Justice Barry Kamens. Since I began complaining and protesting about their fraudulent activities against me in regard to my quest for justice, Justice Barry Kamens, during 2014, was removed from the bench with a provision that he will never seek another judgeship in the state of New York. District Attorney Hines has been charged and is being investigated by both the New York State Attorney General's Office and the United States Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of New York. Both of them, as yet, unconvicted criminals against me, have been shown to be the type of miscreants that I have complained about for many years. During 2014, when Justice Barry Kamens was involved with my case and the administrative judge in Brooklyn was operating with DA District Attorney Hines to cover up the indictment forgery and other constitutional violations against me in regard to my unwarranted conviction for murder and 33 years of imprisonment. What I said previously about the character of these two public officials has now been established. Thus, I request that you, whoever's watching this, that you pay attention to what I have to say. As far as the indictment forgery is concerned, Justice Kamens, in a decision dated 2013, while he was the behind-the-scenes campaign manager for former District Attorney Hines, lied and fraudulently ruled in my case that the records compiled by the number 1 October 1976 grand jury are lost and don't exist. This was a lie on the part of Justice Kamens. These records do exist. At present, all that needs to be done is a 5-minute examination of the grand jury records and the district attorney's admission that these records do exist. And it will resolve this matter to the satisfaction of me and anybody who takes a contrary view of my claims. Back in 2001, former Supreme Court Justice Angie Feldman on November 5th, 2001, ruled that the records were lost, the issue determining records regarding the indictment forgery were lost, and that she denied me relief on the basis of a presumption of regularity and denied me relief. During 2008 and 2009, on the basis of my civil rights lawsuit in the federal court against former District Attorney Hines, he admitted repeatedly that these same records that Justice Feldman and his office had represented were lost during 2001, in fact, exist. So how things stand right now is that in the state court, the district attorney denied the existence of these records during 2001, whereas in 2008 and 2009, in the federal courts, District Attorney Hines admitted that they exist. Nothing has been done by any official in Brooklyn to even notify me as to where these records are archived. I've written repeatedly to the district attorney's office in an effort for them to admit in the state court that these issue determining records exist, and which will demonstrate beyond the shadow of a doubt that the grand jury had never voted on the indictments upon which I was prosecuted, and that the signatures on the two indictments purported to be those of the foreman of the grand jury are outright forgeries. Now, would I ask of anybody watching this video who has an interest in seeing justice finally done in regard to my case, maybe you can give me an idea as to how I can project the existence of this fraud that I have suffered, where I can gain the attention of the public in general. Please answer this. All I want is justice. Okay, one thing we have to contend with is the indicia of innocence. I have protested my innocence since 1976, when I was charged. The evidence against me at trial, I can encapsulate it as follows. There was Carl Vaccarino, who was serving time in a prison in New Jersey for a household armed invasion. There was his brother, Dominic Vaccarino, who was granted a 3-year probationary sentence for murder in exchange for his testimony against me. There was Dominic Vaccarino's wife, Susan Heller, who testified that I was sitting in her kitchen 3 years before, and she had overheard me say, "It's dark there, I'm going back." Dominic Vaccarino's testimony was he was hiding behind bushes 50 yards away and saw me commit the murder. What was withheld from me at trial in regard to Susan Heller is that she was secretly granted immunity from prosecution in exchange for her testimony against me. And yet the district attorney presented her at trial as a person, a citizen who volunteered this evidence against me because she wanted to do the right thing. Also, on August 24th, 1975, both Susan Heller and Dominic Vaccarino gave statements to the police in which they unequivocally stated that they had no knowledge whatsoever regarding the murder. It was not until after they learned that there was a $50,000 reward that they changed this story and presented their false testimony against me. Carl Vaccarino, who was serving time in the prison in New Jersey, was sent to Brooklyn. However, the district attorney housed him in a motel on Staten Island, where he had visits from his family and where he visited his family home. And after his testimony against me, he was never returned to prison. Now, this is the testimony that I was convicted on. Now, I could have gotten out on parole in the year 1990, when I first appeared before the parole board. I appeared before the parole board 10 times. Each time I appeared, I protested my innocence, and I would not admit to a crime I didn't commit in order to be freed from imprisonment on parole. The 10th time I appeared before the parole board, that was during 2008, I still maintained my innocence. However, this time the parole board believed me and they released me on parole. In 2013, the parole board still believed me that I was innocent because they discharged me from my sentence, and I am free from parole as of February 7th, 2013. And that's how things stand now. I need help. I need people who are going to come forth and tell the Brooklyn authorities that they have to release information regarding the existence of these issue-determining grand jury records. Indeed, a cursory 5-minute examination of these records that are presently in the custody and control of the District Attorney of Kings County. 5 minutes examination, and we would know whether or not I'm right or wrong. Why wouldn't any judge in Brooklyn ask to find out where these records are located? That's what I want you to ask. Thank you.